Woohoo! If you guys are ready, because it is hopping here. Holy moly. Hey, Doug. Good to see you again. Colleen, Chris. This is all set up. All right. Sure. Let me make you so. Doug, your hair looks great. Really, it looks perfect.
Thank you. I've been kind of pulling it out recently, and so I'm trying to push it back in.
You're gonna have to get some of the new Mineral Man hairstyling.
Yeah, Adrian said he's excited about some of those new lines.
What were you doing? Laundry earlier? Are you cooking? What's going on?
Yeah, both. My wife was out, and I was trying to be a good supportive spouse.
Good.
So I got, I think, 3 loads of towels folded and dinner put on the plate.
Whoa. I am so impressed. Okay, we're going to start getting this thing organized here. All right.
Hi, Marianne. Your awesomeness.
I did.
I walked up, and all of a sudden here goes Nicole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was so sore. Oh. Well, so we did that.
Are you sore now?
Then we rode.
I ran a mile today. Just my thighs are sore, but
My calves are a little sore.
yeah.
No, we did that, and then we did 45 minutes on those scooters, which is not.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, those scooter things, which was not easy. The next day, I was like, after the 5-day and 45 minutes on the scooters.
Yeah, I was sore for sure.
I walked like an old man on Sunday.
Oh.
Look how tan you are, Marianne.
All right.
Joy Monday! All right, we're going in 1 minute. And then, do you want to do something with our boy buddy? Okay. Cool. She talked about accountability. That's a good idea, but yeah, the only way we can help each other out, I'm all for it. Cool.
Great! She was like, no, I'm not stopping. I'm having to play it louder. She's going to a teenage. See? She's been around.
I know. Somebody go all right. How are you? Are you going that way? I'm gonna grab a chair. All right. I'm gonna kind of set this. Hopefully not in your way. All right. Hey, wait a minute.
You guys, congratulations on packing the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Are we live yet?
I got more minutes.
Are we live?
We are live. Yeah, we are live.
Okay, good. Somebody's got to aim that camera. James, yeah. Okay, good.
I got you right in the center, Denise.
And now we get this show on the road. Okay, so what's going to happen tonight is pretty cool. Hello, Buck. What's going to happen tonight is we are going to show you the bones behind the presentation on how to do longevity exactly the right way everywhere you go. It's going to be just exactly like Luis Ariaza does it, exactly like Corey Gold does it, exactly like Cheryl Morley does it, exactly like Scott Barduas and Juliet does it, exactly like Avelia Ariaza does it, exactly like Denise Chenault does it, exactly like Paul Croto does it. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's not going to be any different. And the way that we do this is pretty cool, because the first thing you're going to do is tell your story. And your story, because these people are coming, apparently when you're in a coffee shop or something like that, those people are your friends. Or if you're in a one-on-one or a three-way call or something like that, they're your friends. So what we want you to do is tell your story first in really short, succinct conversation, where it isn't 25 minutes of your story, just who you are and why you're here. For instance, Denise and I especially Denise. I was a serial stockbroker and airplane salesman, and always trying to climb the ladder of success many, many years ago in my life. And I was doing pretty well at all that. I was an airplane salesman, and I was also a stockbroker, and I was also a terrible alcoholic. And in 1988, I got sober. And when I got sober, I realized that not only did I have to stop drinking, but I was going to have to really, really reinvent my life. And as a result of that, I was trying to get jobs outside of the brokerage business, and no one wanted to hire me. And the last house on the block was multi-level marketing. And like a lot of you, I didn't even want to work in that house. There was no way I was walking in. I had a story about multi-level marketing. I had a bigger story about multi-level marketers. I knew there was no way that those people could be doing as well as they said they were doing. There had to be a scam somewhere. And everything's changed. Everything's changed because God's plan for my life was different, was better than my plan for my life. Not only did he help me get sober, but he also guided me to this business. And I came into it kicking and screaming. And here I am 29 years later. I'll be sober 30 years this month. I have a business. Yeah, if I can just, between here and there, the water can get deep between here and the 29th.
Of September.
This day of celebration. But, to be here today, I am so honored because what I've been so freely given, my sobriety and this profession, which is the greatest profession on the planet that nobody really wants you to know about, is unbelievable. And we're going to prove that to you tonight. So Denise, and then Scott's going to come up and continue to prove it to us. But Denise is going to tell you a little story about her too, to open this thing up, and hopefully hers will be a little more exciting than mine, but just about who you were as a single mom, and take it away.
Well, I was a single mom, and I at the time when I was introduced to network marketing, I had a job selling hair care products, 100% commission, and I had a 3-year-old son, and I typically had more month than money, and so at one point the cable TV had been turned off. That's okay, we can read books. And at one point the car had been repossessed. Posed a little bit big of a problem. So then I was driving my grandmother's really old Volvo station wagon, very sexy, and very safe. And then at a certain point, my telephone was about ready to be turned off, and a friend of mine, we had been friends for a couple of years. A friend of mine called.
Extremely handsome guy.
And we were not dating, actually. And I said, well, you better talk fast. And he said, why? And I said, because my telephone's going to get turned off, I'm sure. And he said, well, how much is the bill? And I said, well, I don't know, it's like $40 or something. And he goes, well, how much do you have in your checking account? And I said, well, funny, you should ask. Because I had just balanced my checking account. And it literally said 0.01.
Down to your last penny.
I had 1 penny, and I was so happy because I wasn't overdrawn.
And I know you guys can relate to that. Maybe not overdrawn part, but definitely that close to the line. And that's all of us. And here we are today.
So wait, can I just
No, you're
finish?
done.
No, I just have to put a little bow around it. So because of that, because of my experience as a single mom, and you know, I loved my Dominic's school, which was a private school, and I had a mortgage. Those two things got paid first, right? And so now, because of that experience, my passion is really helping moms and single mothers and women to be able to make at least $500 a month extra in longevity. Because for me, an extra $250 a month would have meant that my car didn't get repossessed. So
Little did we know
there we go.
our life was going to end up with so much meaning in it. Because we know for a fact our mission on this planet is to help other people have a great life like we've got. And that's who we are. And I'm on the board of directors of something called the MLMIA, which is the Multi-Level Marketing Industry Association, and also the ANMP, which is kind of like the Distributor Rights Association. And so those two things I'm on the boards of. And I've got the choice to be with, I know all the companies out there. And people ask me all the time, why longevity? And I say, why not? It's the best company. And it's going to get bigger and it's going to get better. And the timing, we just came home from the convention, and the timing is right now. When you see the movie in a month and a half that they put out about Dr. Wallach's life, it's a documentary, it's going to change the price of poker exactly like The Dead Doctors Don't Lie did so many years ago. It's unbelievable. We saw the movie. It's almost ready for prime time. They're doing some editing. And when you see it, you are going to see a sales tool for all of you that's going to be unbelievable. On top of that, we're coming out with leading edge products. Next month, we're going to launch this CBD product that is going to be unbelievable for you. The reason I'm telling you that before I tell you about the company is because the anticipation is so high with everybody. I had to do it because everybody wants to know about it that's watching this video out there in the world right now. So what does that mean for you? You have got a startup here with stability called Longevity. It's been around for 21 years. It's a publicly traded company. They've got over 200 employees. They do over $170 million in sales. They're expanding all over the world. All those things are absolutely perfect timing for each and every one of you. The company is headed up by a guy named Dr. Joel Wallach, who was the pioneer behind colloidal minerals, who started this tape called Dead Doctors Don't Lie, that has now been circulated over 200 million times around the world. It's unbelievable. And so he decided, because he was long ago understanding the power of network marketing, he decided he wanted a company that was going to be a lot like a company that's been around a lot longer than us and is a lot bigger, called Amway, where you were basically buying from yourself. And so they took that concept and they've improved on it to the point that this thing doesn't look more like, it looks more like an Amazon than it does an Amway. And that's pretty exciting for each and every one of you, because you're literally buying from yourself and you're literally using dollars that you have earmarked for some things. Then all of a sudden you realize you got something earmarked for another, and you realize you were buying it at the grocery store. So let's just take a look at me right now. For many years, I was a lot heavier than I am right this minute. Anybody notice I've lost 45 pounds? Yeah, which is pretty cool. But, you know, 6 months ago, I wasn't a candidate in Longevity for the weight loss products. I was taking all the nutrition, but I really wasn't that concerned about losing weight. My doctor is in this room right now, Dr. Ife, and his beautiful wife, Dr. Lisa. And they said, Tom, you are trying to out-supplement a bad diet. And they, you know, I got some warnings, and these people in this room literally saved my life. And all of a sudden, the weight loss products of Longevity, the Rev, really started to make some sense to me, because that's where I was at, and I wanted to buy it at that time. I love coffee. I love coffee. I drink Longevity coffee. I buy that for myself. And you're saying, well, that's interesting. Where did you get that coffee cup? What does it say, Tom? I can't read it from you. It says, I am a recovering alcoholic and a network marketer. Would you like to have a cup of coffee with me? You're saying to yourself, where did you buy that cup? Well, it's pretty interesting. My picture's on the other side of this. And the reason that's on the other side is because I bought that for myself at Longevity. Those are just the various verticals going into that Amazon conversation I talked about. We have got so many verticals, you wouldn't believe it. we have got companies inside of those verticals and products inside of those verticals. So when you get to pick your passion, whether it's memory keeping, which is the thing around the coffee cup, or the coffee, which is the coffee that goes into the coffee cup, or whether it be anything like that, whether it's makeup or anything, I can promise you we've got it. And there's a lot of products that we have at Longevity that I don't buy. And Denise is going to talk to you about a couple of them right now. Maybe the skincare, maybe the beauty stuff, maybe the lip gloss, maybe the deodorant that I don't buy, or whatever it is. You know, that's what's so cool. Because literally everything is there for you to be able to take care of yourself, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we do. We have a great skincare line. We have a great mineral makeup line, and what I love is that they're all natural. Jeanette's going to talk about Nature Direct, which is a natural cleaning supplies, and so it's great because all these things do fit in together, you know, and to be able to buy everything from yourself is really an amazing opportunity. And I probably use, well, Juliet's counted all the products that she uses before 10 a.m., but I probably use, 20 different products before I even have lunch. And so it's a great thing. It's amazing.
It's the power of a wide product line.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of single ingredient products, companies out there that do real well for a short amount of time. But if you do the research on the publicly traded, which are already, that's a short list, network marketing companies, you will find out that the multi-billion-dollar companies all have the same thing going on that Longevity does. Now, Denise and I are pretty good at this, but we're not anywhere near as good at this as Scott Fardulis and his wife, Juliette. So what's going to happen now is here comes Scott. There's Juliette and Juliette, and they're going to take these chairs, and they're going to tell a little bit of their story, and then they're going to talk about the company a little more, and they're going to talk about the products a little more. They're going to talk about how you take this unbelievable concept by this guy named Dr. Joel Wallach called 90 for Life and turn that in to an absolute huge, not only income opportunity for you, but the power to change lives opportunity for you. So with that, I want to introduce Scott and Juliette Fardulis.
That was exciting, wasn't it? Yeah. Isn't that a great story from Tom and Denise? And I think the whole point is we want to really be relatable with each other, and it's so important that we tell our stories because that's the thing that bonds us together and brings us together. So we're going to do the same thing in an effort just to continue getting to know each other. And so as we're going along, understand this new format that we're using. It's really called the 4 Stories format. So what you've just heard so far is the set of stories number 1. It's called Your Story. And so we're just telling our story right now, and that's the phase that we're in. And I'll let you know when we're transitioning so you can kind of see how this new format is flowing along. Fair enough? So Juliette, you want to talk a little bit about our story? Just kind of how do you feel from your perspective? We got started with Longevity. What was going on in our lives from your perspective?
Sure. So we've been married for 24 years. Graduated class, and Scott had already been in network marketing before we got married, and so he had already seen the power of it. And so that part about how you, as a teenager, well, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth.
You just tell it from your perspective.
Okay. So as a teenager, he was very resourceful and entrepreneurial and used to work doing things like shoveling snow to make money in Boulder on the streets to I don't know if you mowed lawns. I know you shoveled snow, and then started a window washing company with a 15-year-old, maybe you were 16, about that age, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they were going to well-to-do neighborhoods and asking, can we please wash your windows? And people felt sorry for them, I guess, and said yes, and hired them, and so they would climb up on the roofs.
How could you refuse all this?
And one time, one of his partner that washed windows with him, friend, he said, I want you to meet my dad. And he met him and couldn't believe how they lived. They had a beautiful estate, home, and he said, you know, your dad's a dentist, right? Yeah, my dad's a dentist. Wow, you know, you said that you're real attorney,
Talk about
maybe that's how you get to have a nice place like this and go on great vacations. And they were very active in their church and did a lot of missionary work and things. He thought maybe that's how you have extra time and money. And his friend said, no, actually, my dad wants to quit being a dentist. He hates it. And what he wants to do is what he does on the side, and that's network marketing, different company. So this was many, many years back.
1988.
Yeah, so Scott signed up, went to a meeting that the dentist did in the evenings, just like this, after work, and that this was his exit strategy. He wanted to get out of dentistry and have freedom, and he did. He retired from it and went full-time into his network marketing business. And so Scott took that business to our college and was doing meetings in the dorm room and meetings with even inviting his business professors to come to it. And so he already knew and had his feet wet, and he saw the power of it in the big picture before I did. I didn't know anything about it. And so we joined a different company right when we got married and worked very, very hard, very dedicated to that. And so we've been in and out of, a couple different ones over the years. And some of them, we just felt like maybe the products were good, but we didn't get the commission that we thought we deserved for the time and the group, the size and the volume that we had. So when we found longevity, I'll let you tell that part. How did we find longevity?
Well, about 6 or 7 years ago, I had a pretty serious health challenge, and I got to tell you, it was a scary, very scary time period, very, very scary. And there was a lot of uncertainty, and we really felt like we had worked really hard to get all of our ducks in a row, as they would say, and life was smooth, it was very predictable, and we were kind of in a comfort zone. And then one day, that all changed just like that. We lost our health, we lost out on income opportunities, things started going downhill very, very quickly, and that's when we knew we needed help. We needed help really, really fast, and we needed a solution very, very quickly. And we knew the answer was in a network marketing company. And I'll tell you, sometimes, you can call it whatever you want to. I'm going to call it a miracle because we pray for those things. And that's when we met Tom and Denise, right over here on 3rd and Main Street in a Ziggy's coffee shop. Just happenstance, totally unplanned. Little did they know that we needed that hope and help, but we collided like, 2 Mack trucks out of control on an interstate. It was a big collision. And I'm so thankful for that day. I really, really am, because that was the day that we received something. It's a 4-letter word called hope. And sometimes when you're not doing well, all you need is a little bit of hope. And the sound of their assurance that they could help us with our health challenge, big deal, that was our #1 priority at the time, that they could help us with getting back control of our family values and having some time on our side, that was just a message of hope. And that there was hope for us, third, in the category of the financial side of things. And we needed income, and we needed it right now. Our car had just been repossessed. Our house had been foreclosed on. Our bank account, Denise, was not positive, it was negative, and it was not good. So we needed to right this ship, and we needed to right it now. And the good news is we all know what hard work looks like and smells like and feels like. Whatever you're doing in your life right now, it's hard work. And so a good friend of ours said a long time ago, that you just need to pick your heart. And sometimes we're all doing something hard. It just doesn't have the possibility of outcomes for the hard that you're putting into it. And when we realized that we could continue to work hard at something that we could own, that made all the sense in the world. And so that's how we got here. But now I'm going to transition. So here comes a transition. You ready? So I just told you a story. The second piece of this is you all have a story. We're not going to take the time right now to call you up here and hear your story, but under normal circumstances, we'd have some of you share your story. And so 30 seconds, hearing some of your testimonies, some of your stories. They could be financial, they could be relationship, they could be health related based on our products, etc. That's piece number 2 is your story. So you heard our story. Now we want to hear your story. Let's transition to phase number 3, which is the company story. So Denise and Tom shared a little bit about that story with you. You know, we've been in business for 21 years. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ. We're doing business in 7 countries in Asia, not to mention Australia and New Zealand. There's 2 more. We have a special guest all the way from Australia now. And we're all through North America. So Canada, the US, and Mexico, and down into Central America, which is Colombia. So we have a lot of things going on in the Latino community, Latin America. And then we're into Europe as well. We cover Russia at large, which is really exciting, and other areas are in the works. So that gives you an idea of our footprint. So what's this big message that we call longevity? As they mentioned, Dr. Wallach founded longevity on the principle that there's a lot of stuff going on out there with people's health. And if you haven't noticed lately, every disease is on the rise. His big question was, what's up with that? Why are humans so plagued with everything under the sun? And do animals experience this? Because we're all part of the animal kingdom. So he, 4 or 5 decades ago, I guess it was, he went out and started traveling all over the world, spending a lot of time in Africa and throughout Australia and the outback. He was looking for animals and species that had not yet come in contact with humans, as well as animals that had come in contact with humans, and he compared the differences. And thousands of autopsies later, he definitively concluded this message. And here is the message of all messages. This is the part you have to pay attention to. He discovered, after all these autopsies, that every single disease, every sickness, and every ailment is a mineral deficiency. So think about this. It's we humans that are minerally deficient. Everything comes from the ground, but where do you and I get our food sources from? We get our meats from packing companies. We get our fruits and vegetables from farms that have been cultivated and turned over so many times that the soil hasn't had a chance to regenerate itself and be enriched and enlivened with all the mineral nutrition that should be in the soil. And the further conclusion is if it's not in the soil, it's impossible for it to be inside of you. So when you don't have that natural God-given mineral nutrition in your fruits and your vegetables, in your meats that you depend on for protein, then you're just unable to be healthy. So if you pause and think about that, doesn't that message just make a lot of logical sense? It's not only logical, it's scientifically proven. So much so, to further this story, Dr. Wallach went on with absolute conviction and confidence and science to back it up in all of his research. He concluded, or he was able to go to the FDA and enter into a lawsuit where they were sued by him over 9 times. I think he's on round number 10 right now, all with the premise that with his documentation, we should have the right to go out and talk about the benefits of nutrition, the way the pharmaceutical industry lambasts us every 20 minutes on the same television station with a new pharmaceutical drug. Oh, P.S., by the way, I dare you to do this. The next time you hear a pharmaceutical ad, close your eyes and don't watch the screen. It's a different experience because they distract you. It's the ultimate illusion. If you think Houdini was tricky, go watch a pharmaceutical ad with your eyes closed. Don't watch anything because they'll distract you with entertainment. They'll show sexy people, perfect bodies, dream places that you want to go on vacation, and you get lost in the magic of what they're showing you to distract you with the sped up conversation where they say, if you take this, it could cause death, internal bleeding, incontinence, and erectile dysfunction, the inability to urinate normally ever again. And you're like, oh yeah, just sign me up for that prescription, please, quickly. Because you certainly want to contract all of those side effects, right? Wrong. And so that's Dr. Wallach's message. As little of that as possible, and as much of, quote unquote, keep you out of the doctor's office as long as you possibly can and use it as a last resort. Now listen carefully. There is a time and a place for modern day medicine, agreed? Agreed. And there's also the need for us to not rely on that or be so dependent as we are, as if when you start sneezing, you should just rush in and get a prescriptive drug. Do your very, very best to let your body heal itself, take care of itself naturally without the alternative. That's the 90 for Life message. So here's what I want you to hear. We have access to hundreds, rather thousands of products inside of longevity. There's a smorgasbord of things to choose from, but please hear me carefully. I'm begging you. Don't pass go without committing to taking Dr. Wallach's 90 essential nutrients. You can find that under something called the Healthy Body Start Pack. Make that your commitment first. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. You have nothing to stand on, not a leg to stand on if you don't have your health. And so once you have the peace of mind that you can go to bed every night knowing that your body is flooded with the nutrition that Dr. Wallach showed so vitally important, then you can get excited about everything else. So when you say, hey, I've got a budget, great. Put your budget into the 90 essential nutrients. And then realize you're going to go take the rest of your budget and you're going to go to Walmart and Target and all these other places, and all of those items can be the budget you're already spending. Just make that add-ons to 90 for life and the 90 essential nutrients. 2 reasons why you want to do that. Number 1, if you don't have anything wrong with you, you'd like to give yourself the highest probability of keeping it that way. And if you do have something wrong with you, you want to give yourself the highest probability that your body can naturally take care of itself. You follow? Those are the 2 reasons why you want to take the 90 essential nutrients, and the rest of it, I'll show you that in a second. The rest of it is all about you understanding that you can get paid to use these products, but Target and Walmart won't pay you to use theirs. So we have a business plan, a business strategy that has given many people in this room and beyond these walls the ability to alter the legacy and your bloodline financially by doing the right thing from a business sense. Remember that house we talked about having foreclosed and the car we had repossessed? We don't have those challenges anymore. So I'm not able to stand here, especially on camera and under recordings, and tell you this had anything to do with longevity. I'm not able to tell you that. But here's what I can tell you. In the 7 years that we've been here, and we don't do other things for income, but I'm not able to tell you it has anything to do with longevity. Got it? Catch that? So in those 7 years where we've strictly been a part of this family, we have a home that we live in that we absolutely love, don't ever need to move again, but we also bought another piece of property that's a dream come true property for us, and we're building a house while we live in our dream home now. Isn't that interesting? You know, instead of having cars repossessed, we drive, you know, very wonderful automobiles that we're very appreciative for and thankful that are afforded by the car bonus that's inside of Longevity's compensation plan. So here's the way I got it figured. I'd rather live in houses that are paid for by Longevity. I'd rather drive cars that are afforded by Longevity, and I'd rather use products that I get compensated to use instead of going places where people don't even know my name. That sounds pretty exciting to me. That's what Longevity has to offer. Does that sound exciting to you guys or what? Yes. So let me hear if that sounds exciting. So what we're going to do now, by the way, let me just see if you were paying attention. What is the foundational core product usage that you should be taking every day of your life before you pass go and use everything else? Yep, the Healthy Body Start Pack, otherwise known as the 90 Essential Nutrients, 90 for Life. That's exactly right. You're all correct. Thank you for listening. So what we'd like to do now, Juliet, did I miss anything?
Well, you're in a transition. I'm thinking you're transitioning into the verticals. Do you want to talk about that and how?
Yep, okay. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, why don't you interview Jeanette?
Okay.
So
let me talk a little bit about, set it up a little, and then we'll bring Jeanette.
Perfect.
Good. I can't wait for her to come and share. So here's our flagship products, and they come in 3 forms, and this is the basic pack. If you have nothing wrong with yourself physically, you need to be taking this to keep it that way, as Scott said. If you have something wrong physically, you need to be taking this to help not have that challenge anymore. And it comes in 2 flavors, soon to be 3. And we have liquid, powder, or you can take capsules. If you don't want to do liquid, you can swallow capsules. If you don't like capsules, you can do liquid. There's also add-on products that are for specific problems that you may have. In other words, we have a blood sugar pack for those who struggle with blood sugar issues, a weight loss pack, a digestive pack, and there's many others. They all have these 3 in it in common, plus 1 or 2 extra products that make it unique to that type of symptom. That's our core line, like Scott said. Children should be taking it all the way through every age. And then what's so unique about Youngevity is that they have partnered with and brought in other companies that have completely different product lines than nutrition, but that still, as Denise said, they still fit into the family because they are for your, either for your emotional health, scrapbooking, right, Linda, for your emotional health, or for outward beauty. So we have makeup, jewelry, clothes, and now handbags, purses, wallets. So this is for, you know, outward beauty, and then of course many, many products in the internal health, and coffee, and sports drinks, and protein powder, and so we are very, very fortunate that one of our newest acquisitions is called Nature Direct. It's not Nature's with an S, it's Nature Direct. It is an Australian-based company that I'm going to let Jeanette Anderson, who is the expert and top distributor, is that correct?
I guess
Founder, top distributor from that company. She was at our convention that we just had in San Diego, and she's on tour now through the US and Canada, sharing these wonderful products and how they fit in so perfectly with Dr. Wallach's mission. So years ago, one more thing, when Scott and I decided we wanted to own our own network marketing company with Nick, we had natural cleaning products, and I'm sad that we've run out of them because now I have to buy them at the health food store. So now I'm excited that we can buy them within our own company. I'm not giving that money to the big box store anymore. So I'm so excited to welcome up Miss Jeanette Anderson. Miss
Thank you, all of you. I guess I'm being interviewed by Julie, actually. Okay, so tell us what's in the bag.
What's in the bag?
Yes.
Well, like all companies, we like to start from why you would even consider products like this. I'm a bit of a walker, so that's
Go ahead, walk.
You're gonna have to speak louder.
Speak
too.
louder.
So speak louder and walk.
I'll stand up there.
All right.
So my background is I started in a direct selling company, Party Plan. Has anybody ever done Party Plan before? Okay, some of you. And I started that in 1990. Now, some of you look too young to remember 1990, but even the rates back then was somewhere around about 18, 19%. So you might remember that. I had 2 little babies and my husband who'd lost his job. So I remember going to a party thinking I could do as good a job as that girl's doing. I'll give it a go for 6 months, and then until I can get a real job.
Yeah.
And then I'll get a real job. So I stayed with that company for 13 years, and that was fantastic. And I then actually started assisting and actually part of a group of 3 around the US, actually launching that company into the USA. So I've done a lot of small places in the US as well. I think my favorite would be Coshocton in Ohio. So if you've ever been there, Berlin and that area around Ohio, they're very small towns. So, and then about, in 2003, I got approached by a network marketing company to actually, and they were based out of Dallas, and our home office was out of Hong Kong. So it gave me a great experience in the industry, and just being able to really embrace the very styles of business that this type of industry attracts. The reason why we all are doing what we're doing is because we want to do our own thing. And it's wonderful that we can do that. And I love the fact that Scott and Tom have a system that you can stick to. And we're part of that system now as well. So fast forward, Neil Reid, who's my business partner, we decided in 2007 that we would actually start our own company. And we started with a formula from France that we were offered. And at that time, the company in Dallas were going to take their product on board, and they, for various reasons, decided not to. So Neil said, well, why don't we do it ourselves? Let's just mortgage our houses and just do it all. We're going to be all in. So that's exactly what we did. So we have, over the last almost 11 years, with a very good work colleague, a great colleague of ours, and also our master distributor, Carla Hart, the three of us actually decided that we would start NatureX, which is where we're at now. But what we started, we knew these products were 100% natural. We knew they were pure essential oils. We knew they had no nasties in, no parabens, no bleaches, no caustics, no phthalates. They weren't tested on animals. We knew that they were 100% biodegradable. And we knew that that many people wanted to replace the toxic products in their home with something that was better for them, better for their health. We spent a lot of time and money and effort on what we put on our skin. I've always been a conscious buyer. And we spend a lot of time thinking about the products that we put inside our bodies. You wouldn't dare feed anything to a baby, for example. Anybody have a 2-year-old or 3-year-old in your home? Do you read the labels of everything that you put in your baby's mouth? Yep. You know to avoid the 2s and all those different types of preservatives generally. So why is it that people choose cleaning products without knowing what's in them? So we started to realise that there were some pretty big whys out there, why you would even change. So have any of you ever thought about and made a conscious decision about your cleaning products in your home? Anyone at all? That's great. Well, this is going to be perfect for you. And like what Scott was referring to earlier about advertising, has anybody ever seen that product before? Something like it. There's a couple actually in the bathroom downstairs, which we'll be replacing, by the way. I go into people's homes and offices all the time and read what they've got in their bathrooms. It's a very telling story. Now, if you were to close your eyes and remember the advertising for a product like this, you'll see butterflies and flowers flowing through the rubbish bin, and the children are playing, the cats, the dogs are all happy, everybody's happy. But this is what the warning on this product actually says. Now, some of you are in our workshop in convention. Caution, eye irritant, keep out of reach of children and pets, highly flammable. Avoid contact with food and food utensils. May irritate eyes. Avoid spraying near eyes. Before using the product throughout your home, use in one room and wait 24 hours to ensure that no one has any physical reaction to the product. Now remember, this is manufactured by a trusted family company. Remember that. Asthma and allergy sufferers, consult your doctor before using this product in your home. Before spraying, remove birds. And definitely turtles, by the way, Denise. After use, ventilate normally prior to returning birds to treated area. It's pretty strong. So if the advertising was to match that, you can imagine what it might look like. Now, this is a different product, obviously, but some of you may recognise that type of product. It's a bleach product. It's highly toxic. And what I do know that the worst thing about cleaning products, likewise in Australia and the US, you will never know what's in them because most of them are proprietary blends. So products like that, for example, I never use. Anybody ever clean the shower? Now's the time, to be honest. Has anybody ever cleaned the shower while they're actually in it? Yes. And of course, and then sometimes you would suddenly get headaches. You start to think, oh my goodness, what's going on? And of course, when you start to read the whole label on the back around safety precautions, you'll understand why. So for those of you who are involved in health, then you'll understand that it's a bit of a missing link. In fact, a lot of practitioners in Australia basically call the products you use in your home to be an obstacle to health. Sometimes you might have people who struggle with coughs and dry throats and sore eyes or headaches. And it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't seem to improve things. And often it's what they're using in their home. There's several things that contribute to that. One spray of an antibacterial spray, just one spray, will increase the risk of an asthma attack by 45%. Just one spray in the house. Does anybody in there has aspirin allergies in their families? Do you know anybody with aspirin allergies? Most people, hay fever, all those things. So, the types of things you use in your home make a big difference. So that's why it's such a great marriage with longevity, because when we got the phone call to say we'd love to talk to you about cleaning products, this is a really perfect fit. Because suddenly now you're going to be introduced to a product in your home It's a different dollar to what you're spending on the chicken you're buying at the supermarket or whatever. This is simply a cleaning product. They do come as a concentrate. One of those concentrates makes up 5 bottles, so I'll be able to talk to you about that later. This little baby over here you're seeing sitting on the bench over there, that actually is attracting and trapping particles in the air. It was selling like hotcakes. Now, there's a couple of reasons why it was selling like hotcakes, and we didn't actually have any. We don't even have any to sell yet. We're actually pre-selling. What this product is really good for is for somebody who's immediately sick. If you've got young children or you're at work and you find that somebody's been up all night with gastro or some dreadful cold or virus, this is something you can say, hey, listen, I've got something I think I'm sure will help you. How about I bring it to you, leave it with you for 3 days, and then I'll come back and pick it up from you. I know it's going to make a huge amount of difference to your sleep for a start and your health of your family. And we can go through that later. So it's a great little unit. It's affordable. It works in an average size bedroom, and you can get immediate relief. Now, what happens when you go and pick that unit up? What do you think you're going to be talking about? How to get it and keep it. But more importantly, if they've got kids that are always sick, or if they're always sick, then what you're going to do is say, hey, listen, I think there's something else that you probably need to be introduced to. The foundation of this company is 90 for Life. It's a fabulous product, and it makes all the difference. My own story is around the 90 for Life as well. We didn't really get our accounts until mid-March. I've been born with mild spina bifida. So my L5 and my S1 is fused to my sacrum. So it doesn't matter what I do, they're always going to be that way. But when I was having my first baby, she's now 31, my L4 basically ruptured badly. So I've had 30 hospital visits in 32 years. And whilst the hospital visit itself was only every 2 or 3 days, it was 6 weeks later actually lying. Has anybody ever had back injuries? Most of the time they say you have to have bed rest, and that's the worst part about it. So I started taking the 90 for Life, and I started taking glucogel. And one of the things that was really evident to me, exactly 2 months later after taking it, I was actually able to shave 4 minutes off my 4K run. And in fact, I'm the very proud owner of a medal. I'm the second place holder, along with Tom Chenault, in our age group for the 5K run. Now, next year, Tom and I have made a pact we're actually going to be first. So that's fantastic. So we're pretty excited about it. So that's really Nature Direct in a nutshell. I'm here for a while tonight, so I'd love to talk to you about what you're using now. And I can perhaps if you don't need convincing, then that's fabulous, because they're ready to pre-order now, I think, or certainly in the next week. And so you're going to be able to replace the toxic products that you are already using in your home. You may not be, but you might be using something like Method or some of the other more eco-friendly products. And now you can buy these products from your own home. And of course, it just fits beautifully with longevity in the whole company. Yes.
Can you tell them why the essential oils work better in yours? Like when you go to a party and say, oh, you can make your own.
Yeah. These are not products that are made over a kitchen sink. They're not made with 6 drops of this and 8 drops of that. This is actually a scientifically formulated product, and they're made in a laboratory. I mean, everybody knows, it's surprising, everybody should know that oil and water do not mix. It doesn't matter what you do, they will never ever mix. So what is different about Nature Direct is we have a pure plant-based emulsifier, which basically protects the molecules of the essential oil. I could talk for 25 minutes. In fact, we do have an amazing French biochemist. I'd love to actually get him to convention next year. We might be able to get him for a breakout workshop next year at convention in 2019. He can explain exactly how this works, but basically I can draw it for you later because it's really easy to do. I don't want to take up time talking about molecules and molecular structure, but I'm here to answer all your questions. So back over to Juliette. Something else you'd like to talk about?
Yes, well, that was a wonderful overview. And so let's just say in our minds, maybe someone's thinking, okay, these really harsh chemicals, they do get the job done. Are your natural cleaners going to be effective in getting the job done?
They are. In fact, we have over 500,000 customers at Nature Direct. 500,000. And many of them have reordered over 40, 50 times. In fact, so much so that we've given up. That little baby over there has, there was a bottle on the corner there. Okay. This one here, is highly consumable. We love that about products in our industry because every 2 or 3 days you top that water up to the max line. You probably empty that after about 3 days, and then you put a cap on that.
No,
That's thank you.
units.
Everybody, look at your
But
units.
this is not a diffuser.
No.
Just because it has essential oil and water, tell us how it's not a diffuser. It's much more
What a diffuser does is actually put things into the air. What this is designed to do is to take stuff out of the air. And what it does, the air gets drawn in underneath the lid and then spits out on the top, or sprays out over the top. There's a very fine mist in that, which some of you may have been able to smell when you walked into the room tonight. And what that does is it actually attracts and traps particles, negatively charges them, and dumps them onto the surface. It's that simple. It gets things out of the air. Because if you do struggle with asthma, allergies, hay fever, and any number of symptoms that may lead to what they call the atopic march of allergies, then this is a great product for you. You're going to love it. So it's very different to a diffuser, and there's no point in having one and the other working because you're actually working in opposition to each other. So it's a very simple product. Cold water, if it gets knocked over, it's fine. It just switches itself off. So it's a very safe unit. I guess Nature Direct is about safe in the home and choices in the home. And we believe we've got the best choice. And now guess what? You are the only company in the entire world that has Nature Direct. We manufacture exclusively for longevity. So it's a really great thing.
So thank you very much. So that's not quite available, but we can order these now.
We can order them probably in about 10 days.
Do we put them in the spray bottle with water, or how do you do it?
I was going to do that, but obviously I'll perhaps talk about that later. We have one of these bottles, for example, makes up 5 spray bottles. So it's very economical. And then the spray bottle has a commercial trigger I can show you later. So you don't ever throw the bottle out. And then basically when that's empty, you simply pop that in the recycle bin. So it's really sustainable as well, as far as the environment's concerned. I know many of you in Colorado are very, very savvy around the war on waste as well, and certainly eco-friendly products for the environment. So this is a perfect match for people in Colorado, not to mention anywhere else in the world as well.
Thank you very much. So
Thank
this
you.
is what we're ready to order.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. That was really exciting. I just kept thinking, what if every company in the whole world had laws and regulations where they had to create with the same focus that she's created these products, and there was no such thing as something bad or unhealthy or that could cause problems or have side effects? Wouldn't it be amazing if that was the case? But you see, that's why we have an opportunity, is because that isn't the way the rest of the world works. We're going to let you decide. You know, Ida, we let you decide. Kaya, we let you decide. We let you decide, Brenda. We let you decide, Yvonne. We let you decide, Karen. We let you decide what makes the most sense. We just put the information out there, and we're such intelligent beings that you just got to use your own devices to come up with the best solution. That's the kind of company that we're all about. So to wrap this up, transition, section number 4 is our story. That means yours and mine story together. Okay, so here's the way I look at this. Is if we don't start making the right decisions to follow Dr. Wallach, if we don't make better decisions to use the right kinds of products that make the most sense, then every time we don't do that, we're choosing into the side that continues to destroy and continues to put problems out there. We're a solution-driven company. So now you have a moral, I think, an obligation to use your best intellect and your best integrity to do the right thing, because we're either for the right solution or we're for the wrong side. So that being said, I'm gonna propose to you that there's 3 camps of people right now. Camp number 1, you want to make no money through longevity. You just want convenience. That's camp number 1. Camp number 2 is you want to make some money and have convenience. Camp number 3 is you want to make a lot of money and have convenience. So you see how they all have convenience? And the peace of mind that you're purchasing, right? But now you get to decide financially. No impact financially, a little bit of financial impact, or a lot of financial impact. The question is, just see yourself in one of these camps and they're all okay. So when you walk out of here, whichever one you pick, they're great. Just do the thing that makes the most sense to you. So I'm going to write this down for you so you can take some notes, and then we're done. So I've got my handy dandy eraser, and I've got a purple marker. Okay, purple it is. Okay.
There's black inside that glass drawer, right up to the left of you, or the last glass
That's
jar.
okay. I'll use purple. I got it.
All right.
Okay. That is you. Okay? So this is you. It just means there's an entity here. I can draw any shape you want to, but circles are easy. So I'm going to propose to you that since we're all creatures of influence, that I want you to set a goal to influence 4 people to make the same decision. Okay, so remember those 3 camps? It's no money, some money, or a lot. And this is just a decision. We're not making any financial guarantees whatsoever. This is all predicated on us being smart business people and having influence. So it's still a decision. So make your decision. This costs nothing. If you want to make some money with Longevity, you're going to have a $25 fee, okay, to register to the company. That's going to give you the ability to get our products always at the wholesale price and delivered to your doorstep. And you can make commissions with that $25 fee. If you want to put yourself in a position to capitalize on every bonus this company has to offer, then you want to order what's called a CEO pack, and those are $499 USD. I say USD because some people are watching from other countries with different currencies. So $499 USD. So let's say, for example, that you're in this camp right here, and you want to have the highest ability to earn commissions. You're going to order a CEO pack, so you're going to become a CEO, and let's just say that these 4 people all become CEOs. Okay, that means you order that CEO pack. What's inside the CEO pack? I'm so glad you were thinking about that. Inside is like 2 sets of the 90 essential nutrients. So let's say you're married. That's one for you and one for your spouse. Let's say that you live at home with parents. You have one for yourself and one for the rest of your household to be playing with and sampling. So there's 2 sets in there. Then on top of that, there are different CEO packs with different types of focuses. So you could focus on weight loss, for example. You could focus on cleaning products, for example. You could focus on the hemp products that just came out. You could take different focuses in our company and have that CEO pack. All of them have the 90 essential nutrients. So just keep that in mind. It covers that core we talked about. But watch what happens here. 4 CEO packs, each one of these, you are going to earn back approximately $125. And what is 125 times 4? It's 600. It's how much is it? $500. Okay, so 500. How much is the cost of the CEO pack? 500. So do you see how 4 individuals right here, you just earned back the cost of your CEO pack? Now, I want you to ponder this. What other business in the world can you begin with? And by the way, can we all agree there's no business that ever has any guarantees? Every business in the world is predicated on serious roll up your sleeves and lots of hard work, right? Okay, so now you've got your money back with introducing 4 people to the idea of wanting to earn commissions. I happen to believe that there's way more people concerned about finances than there are their health. There's more people with financial issues than there are health issues, as odd as that sounds. So now you have that. And so what also happens here, I'm not going to go into details right now, but beginning with this person right here, you're going to earn what's called a coding bonus. And that means that the first 3 individuals that this person introduces and the first 3 people this person introduces, every CEO pack sold, you're going to earn somewhere between $15 and $190 per CEO pack. If you do the math on that, it's tremendous. Again, I'm not going to go into details, but I want you to know that as big as this organization ever gets, our organization has somewhere around 200,000 people after 7 years. So every time someone purchases, there is a percentage between 2% and 8% off of every ticket that's ever purchased in the world in the company that's part of your team. If you do the math on that, it adds up rather nicely. So you can see how quickly you can go from supplemental income to full-time income and a radical lifestyle enhancement and change. Simple enough? Makes sense? Okay, so that's the question that you have to answer for yourself. No money, free. Just register in, get an account. You can go shopping anytime you want to. If you want to make some money and earn some commissions, it's going to cost you $25 to enroll and get our very best pricing and very best specials on products. And if you want the ability to earn as much money as possible, like say Tom and Denise inside of Longevity and many other people, order a CEO pack and just do what we call simply become a product of our products. We want you to be the walking, talking testimony, living, breathing billboard and example of what happens when you follow Dr. Wallach's 90 essential nutrient advice. Because I can tell you what most people will say, and I think there's plenty of people here to validate this. Once you use 90 for life, you'll never stop. Because people have before. They've stopped, and that's when you notice that there's a problem. That's when you notice there's a difference. You're like, why do I not feel so good? Why do I not feel right? Why do I just not feel like everything's clicking? And people have discovered it's because they stopped taking the 90 essential nutrients, and guess what? Once you have felt as good as you can feel by taking his advice, you'll always go back if you stop. So that's the good news, guys, and that's how you get started with Longevity. We're so glad that you came out tonight. We know there's a lot of new people here tonight. Thank you, Tom and Denise, for opening up this space. Thank you for making this real. Jeanette, thank you for coming literally all the way from Australia to take this tour throughout the use. We know you have several cities that you're stopping at, sharing the good news and what it means to take your thinking away from Clorox and Windex and all the other things that are out there and start using something that makes a lot more sense. So you're part of the solution on what we have here at Longevity. So anything else you'd like to add, Mr.
Anybody have questions? I'm the closet man. At least he didn't have to wake me up. Anybody got a question for him? Anybody? Go ahead.
Put down the bullet points of the 4 stories, or
Their story, your story, company story, and our story together. So here's my final question for you. When it comes to our story, Lisa, could you imagine? Claire, could you imagine? Angela, can you imagine? Joanne, can you imagine? Devin, can you imagine? And back of the room, what's your name again? Colin. I was going to say Connor. Thank you. Colin, can you imagine? Kyle, can you imagine what would happen knowing what you know now? If we were to lock arms together, get shoulder to shoulder, stand tall together, get pumped up about what we're talking about, and take this message out there, show people some respect, give them some hope, put your arm around someone, give them some encouragement, and let's go build this together. What would happen, and can you imagine what would happen if we put our best efforts together and we really took this seriously? And as you're pondering that, I'll tell you what happened. When Juliet and I answered that question for ourselves, when we said, yeah, we can imagine that. Actually, yes, we can. We can imagine that. We had a vision in our head. We started seeing dreams inside of our mind that we so desperately wanted to come true. We gave ourselves permission to dream again. And when we started dreaming again, it was like the weight of the world before the result even occurred was lifted off of us, because we knew that eventually those dreams were going to come true, because we had the help and the support and the commitment of who would become some of our dearest friends in the whole world. That's Denise and that's Tom. And they've never let us down. We're so blessed to be here. We're so excited to be here. But you guys have to make that decision as well, because without making a decision like that, nothing changes. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's the good news. Do you agree with that, Tom?
1000%. Jim McCormick, stand right there. His wife's an attorney and a teacher and many things in the line of the camera. That's me. I know, right there, right here. Turn around. Engineer, tightly wound man. very, very organized in his life. His wife was in the memory keeping, correct? But she exposed him to the 90 for life. He didn't have a heck of a lot of interest in memory keeping. It was his wife's deal. 90 for life was a little different story. Why don't you tell these people what happened with you with 90 for life?
Well, speak up, right?
Please, you got to talk to this camera right here.
And I haven't seen you in a long time, so I know I put you on the spot. I'm really happy to see you. You're my man.
Nice to see you.
How's the dog?
Wonderful.
Good. Go ahead.
Let's see, October of 2013, what was the name of the company?
Heritage
Heritage Makers was bought by Longevity. At about the same time, I was telling my wife a secret I've been keeping from her for many years, that I had a really serious back issue that had reached the point that I was going to have surgery. I'd already been to a neurosurgeon, already knew exactly what was wrong, was a major problem. She said, well, before you do that, why don't we try these new products that come from Longevity? And so I said, okay, but I'm in trouble. It's got to work fast. So she got in touch with Dr. Glidden. He said, take this regimen, the building blocks that have been described, plus what Dr. Wallach calls the secret sauce, the added products. And within 90 days, I was pain-free. I have never taken another pain medication for my back, and that's been since January 2014. And I'm on 90 for life forever.
I didn't feel like that was an exaggeration, did it? This is a grateful man. He got his life back. He couldn't walk across the street. Now he's walking his dog. They moved from Houston to Fort Collins, Colorado. They've got their dream life today. They're traveling the world, all because he believed his wife, who was a memory keeper convert. We love you. Thank you. And stories like that about, you know, you got to let yourself be that story. And, you know, and every day over the years, you're going to have different gifts of desperation in your life. And you guys got to, when it shows up, where that point of no return is, where you decide that you're going to control your health, or in my case, take care of my drinking, or in my case, take control of my money. I had to get desperate enough in all three of those instances in order for me to push myself to the point that I could be successful. And I got successful on my drinking. I got successful on my money. And recently I got successful on my health. And I want that for each and every one of you. So please don't minimize this message. I pray for you the gift of desperation to figure it out for yourself. So thank you all for coming. You got anything else for them? No, that's it. Go home and duplicate. How did you like the way the presentation laid out? Did you guys do that? Yeah, it's easy. I know it. I know it. Let me try to.